When you're working on an editing project, being able to edit quickly and efficiently is probably one of the best and most important skills that you can develop as an editor. Ultimately, it's going to allow you to get your creative ideas out on the computer faster and get your projects done quicker so that you can move on to the next one. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through 3 time-saving editing tools that you can use to cut through your timeline and to make your edits go a lot faster. So the first tool that we're going to talk about is the slip tool. So the slip tool, what it allows you to do is adjust the timing, the beginning and the end of your footage within a clip's boundaries. So for example, we have a clip here in this timeline, and this clip is obviously sandwiched between other clips, which means I can't change the beginning and end of it. This is already edit locked to the music and all set up the way we want it to go. And so I might look at this clip and say, well, what if I want to start the clip a little bit earlier or end the clip a little bit earlier? So if I go over here to the slip tool, then I can use that and drag it on this clip. And what it's going to do is it's going to drag the clip within those boundaries. So if you look up at our program monitor right now, you can see 2 clips, one on the left, one on the right. The one on the left is showing me the beginning of this clip. The one on the right is showing me the end of this clip. So as I move it to the right, you'll notice that it starts a little bit earlier. As I move it to the left, you'll notice that it starts a little bit later. And so I can adjust and put it exactly where I want that to go. Now in Final Cut and DaVinci Resolve, you do this using the trim tool. So when you switch over to the trim tool, you can just put your cursor over the middle of the clip and start dragging, and it will create the same effect. Now, if you didn't have the slip tool, this can save you a lot of time, because the way you would have to do this, for example, if you wanted to change the beginning and end of this clip, is that you'd have to bring it up into a new timeline. You'd have to extend this edge out, extend this edge back, then move it back into place, and then adjust the clip to fit into the frame. So as you can see, being able to use this slip tool to do that can save you a lot of time. Now, similar to the slip tool is the slide tool. So if I go over here to select the slide tool, and I put my cursor over the middle of the clip, what this is going to do is as I drag the clip, it will move it between the 2 clips that are sandwiching this clip, adjusting the beginning edit point and the ending edit point and moving the clip to where it wants. But it also adjusts the clips that are surrounding this clip. So it makes the clip before it longer and then the clip after it longer. Once again, if you wanted to do this without using this tool, you'd have to move the clip out, adjust your first clip, adjust your second clip, then move the clip back in, and then adjust your second clip to fit it. In DaVinci Resolve, you do this using the trim mode again, but you want to drag on the bottom of the clip instead of dragging over the image preview. And then in Final Cut, you switch over to the trim tool and then just press Alt before dragging. All right, next up is the Ripple Edit tool. So the Ripple Edit tool, basically what it does is when you make an edit to your clip, it will adjust the rest of your timeline. So in Premiere Pro, the default is if I make a change to my clip here and I move the right edge of my clip over, it'll leave a gap in the footage right there. Now a Ripple Edit tool will do it differently, where if I do it with the Ripple Edit tool by holding down Command or Control, or you can also come over here and select it from your toolbar. If I do that, it will adjust the entire timeline to fill that space. So if that's what you want to happen in your timeline, this will save you a lot of time, because then you don't have to move your clip over, then zoom out and reselect all of the clips that are going forward and then shift them all over towards it. Instead, you can just make that one quick edit. Now this works a little bit differently in Final Cut, because Final Cut actually defaults to a Ripple Edit. So when you drag the edge of your clip, the rest of the clips will move with it. And if you want to do this in DaVinci Resolve, all you have to do is again switch over to trim mode and then drag the edge of the clip, and it'll do the same thing. Now, kind of like the Ripple Edit is also the Rolling Edit tool. So a Rolling Edit, what it does is rather than moving the entire timeline, it just moves that one edit. So if I use, again, the Command key in Premiere, and I click over my edit here, you'll notice that the cursor changes when I hover over it. If I drag that, then it will move that edit around and place it wherever I want it, adjusting the first and second clips to match it. So with the Rolling Edit tool, I don't have to adjust one clip at a time, which would take forever. Instead, I can just do it in one fell swoop. In Final Cut Pro, all you have to do is switch over to trim mode and put your cursor over the middle of the edit and drag it, just like in Premiere. And then in DaVinci Resolve, you don't even have to switch over to another tool. All you do is put your cursor over the middle of the edit and the tool will automatically pop up and you just drag it. And last but not least, another tool that will save you a lot of time in your editing is the Track Select Forward tool or the Track Select Backwards tool. So in Premiere, what I can do is wherever I place my playhead right here, if I select the Track Select Forward tool and I click on a clip, it'll select that clip plus everything going forward in the timeline. Likewise, there's also a Track Select Backwards tool, which I can click here, and when I select a clip, it will select that clip and everything backwards. This is really helpful if you need to move an entire timeline or everything from a certain point to create a gap. So for example, in Premiere, if I wanted to insert a clip right here, what I would need to do normally is zoom all the way out, select all of the clips that I want to move, and then zoom back in and adjust them out of the way, like that. So with the Track Select Forward tool, I save the time from having to zoom out and zoom back in and selecting all those clips. All I have to do is hit A to select that tool, grab my clips, and then just move them forward. You can also use keyboard shortcuts with this, so you notice that when I use the Track Select Forward tool, it selects all of the tracks on my timeline going forward. If I hold the Shift key, however, it will only select the single track that I am currently clicking on. Now, in Final Cut Pro, unfortunately, you can't actually do this, so it doesn't have a tool that will do the same thing. So in that software, you're going to be stuck actually zooming out and selecting all of your footage. But in Final Cut, typically the workflow works a little bit differently because ripple edits are by default. And so the way you would do it normally is by just adding a gap into your footage, which is an entirely different process, but that's how most people work in that software. And then in DaVinci Resolve, it's all done by keyboard shortcuts. So in Resolve, you'll hit Y or Alt-Y to Track Select Forward or Track Select Backwards, and then you'll hit Command-Y or Command-Alt-Y in order to track select all clips or all tracks forward or all tracks backwards. So there you go. There's 3 time-saving tools that you probably didn't know exist. Using these tools and understanding how to use them, even though they will take a little bit of practice to get used to, they will make your editing go so much faster. Now, each individual edit only probably saves a second or 2 of time in a lot of cases, but those seconds can add up when you're working on a really big project, and then over the course of the entire project, you'll end up saving hours of your time just by learning how to use these tools. So I highly recommend practicing them, getting familiar with them, making sure you know them well so that you can use them efficiently and work faster in your edits.